Namaskaram. Every moment of learning has a student and a teacher. From some people we learn how to do things, and from some others how not to. We learn by observation, by lecture, by affection, through reading, and many times from being scolded. As dancers, many of us are fortunate to be able to learn from true masters of their art. As we slowly progress from the basic technical teaching towards performance and presentation, and ultimately to creating that elusive magic on stage, our teachers use different methods to help us understand how to get where we want to be. They use analogies and examples of various kinds, some dance or theatre related, some unconventional ones, and some very personal ones. They inspire in us a moment of learning where we are able to take an aspect that we couldn't grasp and make it part of the language of our body. To capture in some small way these instances between teacher and student, I present Sishya, Moments of Learning. I approached a few dancers who I admire not only for their ability to perform, but for their constant yearning to learn and improve. I hope this will inspire dancers to cherish those moments with their teachers and non-dancers to understand a small part of the effort and joy of learning and presenting dance. The first dancer we have is Amrita Lahiri, a Kuchipudi dancer, who I met for the first time when I was 17 or 18 and still a student at Kalakshetra. Amrita began dancing at the age of 7. Growing up in Washington, D.C., she first started learning under Srimati Anuradha Nehru. She later trained in Bharatnatyam under Sushri Leela Sampson and continued to train in Kuchipudi with Sri Jayakishore Masalikanti. Amrita has created several innovative choreographies and has presented them to critical acclaim all over the world. She has simultaneously maintained a career as a curator for significant institutions like NCPA, Kalakshetra, and Museum Riedberg Zurich. When I was still a student in Kalakshetra, hers was the very first solo Kuchipudi performance that I watched, and it has inspired in me a love for a dance form that I was never exposed to before. Amrita will now speak about a couple of instances where she was able to understand her own dance differently under the guidance of two senior artists.
Natesha Kotvam is a piece that I had seen a few times. It's a choreography of Guru Vempati Chinna Satyam, and it was always my fear, but also ambition that I would be able to do this on stage one day. And the main fear was this first jati, which has a series of spins around the stage, starting from sort of first speed to second speed to third speed until you come all the way circling the stage back to the center of the stage and freeze in tam. So it goes tak gita taka tam 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 like that, then tak gita taka tik gita taka tong gita taka nan gita taka tak gita taka dik gita taka tong, like that around the stage, and then tak gita dik gita tong gita nan gita tam tak gita taka. So you have to freeze even though your head is spinning as you've gone all the way around the stage. So initially I used to only focus on the fact that, oh, there's 3 speeds here, so I have to get my leg up and I have to do it, complete the movement in that small amount of time, the right amount of time. So first speed, second speed, and then third speed. And I could never find my placement. So how do you go in those spins and then land up right at the same spot again? I think this is something Kathak dancers know very well. But then one day, while I was with my teacher, with Jayakishore Masalikanti, he said, see, you have to just do the first speed up to this point on the stage. Then you have to do the second speed up to this point on the stage and take the third speed to come all the way back to the center. And suddenly it just clicked and I could complete the circle, smoothly and effortlessly. So it's funny how sometimes you have to focus on so many different elements at the same time. So it's not just about completing the arms and the legs. It's not just about the tempo, but it's also when you get it onto the stage and onto a big space. And you're a solo dancer, and you have to think of where you're going on the stage that'll make it effective, not just for the audience, but also for yourself to be able to complete it and to be able to do that jati beautifully and effortlessly.
kita kita taka dhik kita kita taka dhum kita kita taka tam tam tak kita kita taka dhik kita kita taka dhum kita kita taka te te tak kita taka tam 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 dhik kita taka te 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 kita taka tam 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 dhik kita taka te 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 tak kita taka dhik kita taka tam kita taka tam kita taka dak kita taka dhik kita taka dhum kita taka num kita taka dak kita dhik kita dhum kita nam kita ta kita taka dhik kita taka dum kita taka nam kita taka dak kita taka dhik kita taka dum kita taka nam kita taka dak kita dhik kita dum kita nam kita ta.
So the character of Tungavidya has become like one of my favorites, and it was a huge like learning for me to be able to do this character, because she is a young girl, she's naive and she's stubborn, and she wants what she wants, right? If she wants something, she has to get it. So whether that's a little bee flying in the air, or a deer jumping in the forest, or Krishna himself, she has to get her way. And in the process of trying to get her way, in this story, she actually drops dead, as in she kills herself just to have Krishna. So I had never portrayed death on stage. And then this kind of stubbornness, I had not portrayed before. And this was mentored for me and choreographed for me by Sharmila Biswas, who's an Odissi guru. And we were almost at, we had worked very hard on this production called Murchana. It was already, the last few rehearsals, and she was in Calcutta, I was in Bombay, so we were not meeting that often. And in the last few rehearsals, there were so many changes and improvements. And I remember she was sitting with musicians and everything, and she said, no, that character, you see, when Tungavidya, she's swinging, and then she sees the bees, she wants to catch it, she can't catch it, and it's gone. The deer, she wants to catch that also, and then suddenly she hears Krishna's flute, and how does she feel? He's come for me, only for me. She's so naive and such a Mugdha, innocent young girl. She said, only for me. And I remember Shamila Di's saris falling off at that point. The pallu was a little bit falling, because she was so innocent and so excited, just like that character. And it was so involved, and then suddenly I saw, okay, that's the feeling I need, that he's come just for me. And in that joy, she runs and she falls down. And the other thing is that Abhinaya, when we do expressions like this, there is a conversation going on in our heads all the time. Learning Abhinaya is a lot about learning a script, learning thinking of the storyline, of the character development. It's almost like one whole movie script going on in your head while you're expressing without any words. The singer is saying the words for you, or the music is giving you that impact. But saying that in your head, or keeping that very clear, is what brings out the expression and brings out that feeling between the audience and the dancer very clearly. So that was one very clear moment.
Tungavidya Varangana, Tungavidya Varangana, Ga ga pa ni ri ga sa ri ga sari ga pa da di sa pa di sa. Gantri Tungavidya Varangana, Tungavidya Varangana, Krishna